So using the analogy of a pot and a steaming kettle to admit that both sides are haunted by unethical behavior, the Prime Minister said in regards to this land problem that we've been hearing about in the rural area. And I quote, "We have come across many people in the pot who have been jumping up and shouting and criticizing our steaming kettle. And there are persons there who are presently occupying government land without paying rent or any form of remedies, who are doing business there, who are not paying any light bill, and who have been asked to do so but haven't done so." After that, the opposition member of Parliament from Trelawney North, Mr. Victor Wright, blasted the Prime Minister for those comments and said about a land deal involving Mr. Wright and accused the government of creating mischief. And I quote, "I think what the Prime Minister did was outrageous, disingenuous, and an outright lie. He's just trying to get back from what transpired last week in his own cabinet. He's trying to say others are wrong to protect his cabinet ministers. It just doesn't work." This is coming from Mr. J.C. Hutchinson and that land deal. Mr. Hutchinson moved to the office of the Prime Minister, and I think the Prime Minister was saying that Mr. Victor Wright was getting stuff that he ought not to on that same set of lands down there. But Mr. Wright is saying no. So let's see. What's the next one?
I don't know. I'm just reading up on all the things that the PM is saying. But while we're on the topic of the Prime Minister, a lot of people want to know when the local elections will be. And with a state of emergency extended, it looks like we won't have a summer election. As some people predicted that there would be. We have a we have a state of emergency, all right, up to September 3.
Well, it can be called all the way up to February next year. So some people thought he would call it now because of his popularity rating and stuff. But
what a timing between the COVID and all the other things in the air. What a time to lead. Could you be a Prime Minister of a country?
Me?
I've always wanted to ask my viewers, what would you do if you were? You know, sometimes we as citizens sit back and we have a lot of expectations of what we want from our leaders and people that are in Parliament. What would you do?
Well, they say uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. So if you're in charge of the country, anything happens is your fault. So we have a pothole, is the Prime Minister's fault. If we have corruption in our ministry, it's the Prime Minister's fault. The leaders get licks, you know, and usually here they say the buck stops here. So it's not an easy job, and it's not a job that everybody wants. Anyway, let's continue.
So what's next? You tell me.
Speaking of COVID, the local tourism sector is not expected to see a return to normality before the second quarter of 2023. So said the president of the JHTA, the Jamaica Hotel and Tourism Association, Mr. Omar Robinson. So they've had phase reopening of some hotels, but he's suggesting that things won't get back to normal for a little while. And everybody is saying things can't get back to normal until they have a vaccine. The good news is that they're hearing that they're testing some vaccines across the world now, so let's see what comes out of that. But no surprise that things just won't be all right for right now. So we have to accept that, and we have to understand
hotels are actually on the brink of bankruptcy, people, and many are struggling. Even though we reopened the market, it seems that there's a strained cash flow threatening to send others into bankruptcy over the next
And the other
few
thing,
weeks.
because the hotels, they have not had any customers, for want of a better word, they've had to drop costs, you know. In other words, it was $10 room, and now they've said, well, all right, come, because $5 room now, because
but the maintenance
people are not working.
Right.
So they know that you can't afford what you could afford last year, can't afford this year. So they are suggesting, well, it's better we get something that don't get anything at all.
And there have been some very good prices out there on the market. I will say, though, there is a maintenance cost of about, I don't know, for like a small hotel, they're saying it could cost you up to $30 million. You know, I had some figures somewhere, but it costs a lot of money to still keep the hotel going, even though there are no customers. So maintenance costs, for example, for small hotels under 100 rooms, $30,000 to $50,000 US per month for maintenance. So you can see how hard they have been hit without that cash flow. What's going on? If you own a dog, I hear that there are new laws coming.
Proposed legislation would repeal the Dogs Liability for Injuries Act. That was an act that was about from 1877. Mr. Chuck says, the minister, we hope to see no more reports of dog injuries, but in the event they happen, I want Jamaicans to know that the Justice Ministry has taken the steps necessary to ensure redress under the law. The bill proposes fines ranging from $500,000 to $3 million, or imprisonment from 6 months to 15 years. And he says civil liability can be incurred if the dog causes injury in any place other than its home or where it's normally kept. So there you go. Financially, I'm a pauper. But when it comes to loving, I'm all right. Who sing that?
One of our amazing artists, Dobby Dobson, who passed away at the age of 78.
Yeah, big song. I only can't find that. Loving Pauper.
Run it.
Turn it up loud for me, please.
They just don't do music like this anymore, though.
He says he's not in a position to maintain you.
That's you, right?
Can't take you out the pants.
You relate? That's what you said to her?
Yeah. But financially, I'm a pauper. But when it comes to loving, I am all right. Unfortunate condolences to the family, to the friends, to the community, to everyone in music. One of our outstanding artists from a long time back. Tropical Depression 7 forms in the Atlantic East. We have a Trump story. Forget that one. Trump.
No, don't say that name. Don't say it. I'm allergic.
He says the crisis will probably, unfortunately, get worse before it gets better. A lie. President,
You're making a joke, right?
Eh?
You really just did that to upset me this morning.
No, but...
you brought Trump to my TV to upset me, Neville. Take him off. Take him off. Take him off. I'm allergic. Oh, my God, I'm allergic.
And the final one says Tropical Depression 7 forms in the Atlantic. Hopefully, it may encounter increased wind shear as it nears the Windward Islands this weekend. I'm not seeing anything that suggests that we should be concerned just yet.
However, people, remember that we are in and approaching, or we're in the hurricane season.
We're in the hurricane season.
So just remember to look out for all of the notices, stay safe, and prepare for anything. So that was the
hot topic.
Still
to come, folks, we highlight our Jamaican theatre pioneers, but first, news in 5 when we come back from this break. Stay with us, please.